live now on video as well. Sometimes it's a little bit challenging getting going here, but I want to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today on this amazing day where life is occurring, and we're just so grateful that you're along with us today on this Energetic Life, a weekly series where we are talking about how to feel better, how to be more grateful, how to live just a healthier, happier life. And we're using food as medicine, aren't we? And I hope you got the newsletter, everyone, and that you found that information helpful. And before we get going here today, I just kind of want to start with a little intent, a little peace of mind and well-being. I found a prayer that I'd like to read today. And let's just take a breath and connect. And just, let's just get really present in our body now. Dear God, you have blessed me with another glorious day, and I am grateful. Whatever fear I feel lingering, may I shift it over and use it to motivate myself to serve in an even more beautiful way. May I know your plan for me today, and may I see myself in all others, to whom I am blessed to witness today. May my heart shine so brightly that it blinds the hate and allows peace to be restored. May I know this to be true for all. May I have gratitude, bliss, and remember I am more than this now, but that this is good, and that it is from the now where my bliss-filled future arises, like the sun on this glorious morning. Thank you for this beautiful, healthy body and my brilliant mind, and for all your time, everlasting, all through eternity, and beyond belief, with a shining heart and mind. And that is anonymous. And part of what I believe the importance of starting with this kind of connection is so that we do open up ourselves to a new way of perceiving, receiving, and believing. And I like how we're talking about, making this deep connection as we continue our ability to create this amazing life. It's almost like you look out on the earth plane now and you see so many people who are so focused on the exterior, the beautiful body, how it really looks. And so often we forget that body is attached to the mind or something greater, the Christ consciousness, the God force, however you choose to language it. I do believe it is just this frequency of constant improvement, if we choose for it to be that way, and that the mind is attached to the spiritual side, the soulfulness of each of us. And that is a very, very important journey that each of us is blessed to take, the journey within. This inner fitness, we want to get the inner, because the inner is always a reflection of how we are really living our life. We want to be well. We want to feel good. And we want to feel God. That's part of that, this frequency, this up leveling of our own personal frequency and vibration. And we're always talking about how to do that here on this Energetic Life. We're using ancient wisdom, applying it to modern life. And we're wanting to eat more good food. And today we're talking about A is for antioxidants. Antioxidants, very, very important. Because this body, this beautiful body, is a machine. It takes in, it produces energy, and because it produces energy, there is always a byproduct. And the oxidants in our life are called free radicals, and they shorten our life and cause us to have move us towards chronic conditions, which cause lack of ease or dis-ease within the body, within the mind. If the body and mind do not have ease or wellness, neither can our invisible aspects of us, that beautiful, soulful, spiritual side of us, the mysterious, the unknown. So antioxidants are a great way to really assist the body as we begin to go within that journey within. The last great frontier, right? This fearless journey within to where it's all happening. 85% of our health starts in the mind, and 80% of our immune system is stored in the gut. And it's so important that these two be very, very healthy so that we can maintain a beautiful, healthy body and live an amazing life. This very experiential experience called life. And so antioxidants are a wonderful key for us. And I want to introduce everyone to Daisy today. If you got the reminder, you knew that we were, Daisy's been helping me stay on track. And Daisy and I were talking a little bit about antioxidants today. And she wanted to share with us some of her findings on antioxidants. And specifically, the ORAC value of food. Daisy, what was your experience when you were doing some investigating on antibiotics today? Are you there? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, I'm here. Sorry about my dog in the background.
Mine's barking too.
So yeah. So how do you pronounce it? So ORAC?
ORAC value. ORAC.
Yeah, it stands for oxygen radical absorption capacity. And I guess it was tested by researchers from the National Institute of Aging, and they found that different antioxidants have different levels, and the ones that we want for our body obviously have more high potency. And different foods that, we were talking about, and cayenne and red beans and cloves, I believe, as well.
Nice.
Have a really high. My question though is how do they test the potency of them? Do you know that?
The actual scientific procedure, I do not know. I know Dr. Mark Furman goes deeply into the ORAC value in his book, which I do not have right here, but you can look up. Dr. Mark Furman explains the whole process, the scientific process behind it, on how they value them starting at 1,000, which the greens being some of the highest, lightly cooked greens being some of the highest ORAC value, all the way down to things like Twinkie, which might register negatively. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. I don't think it registers negatively, but it might be A1. And it's really fun to look at that scale, and I'll see if I can put that into our Inside Track newsletter that you and I are going to put together regarding that. Dr. Mark Furman also talks about what he calls the G bombs, which are in order of benefit. It would be the greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries. G-bombs are a great way to take yourself to the grocery store and look for these wonderful greens that are so high. And remember, we want to cook our greens lightly because that makes them more bioavailable. The same with our high quality nuts, with almonds being a superior nut. Soak your almonds, soak your walnuts. Daisy was sharing with me today about when we're looking at foods, we can look at the shape of the food, and the body receives the benefit from those foods. And we were both talking about walnuts being one of the favorites. Walnuts look like the brain, and the way that it looks in the shell, it is the two ventricles of the heart. So in ancient times, if you were looking around for food, Source gave us these little clues to the energetic benefit of food and even the organ that they might treat, which is wonderful as well. Mother Earth always provides for us, and that is just such a great gift. So what do antioxidants do for us? Well, they gobble up these free radicals. And the free radicals are the things that go after our telomeres, which are the little wispy ends of our DNA. And the longer our telomeres, the greater and more buoyant our true health is. And true health is really this capacity to feel good most of the time, and to be fully awake and present for your life. And the food is really one of the greatest ways that we support our body. Unfortunately, in this culture, we eat way too much junk and crap. And if you go even deeper, you're now seeing that they are deliberately putting toxins into our food, genetically modifying our food, which has a direct effect on this telomere length. So when we go to first cleaning up the cesspool, right? We talked about that in This Energetic Life, how we have to get our liver detoxed, and using the castor oil pack is a great way to do that. And Daisy will remind me to put that video on the Inside Track newsletter too, Daisy. Thank you. And castor oil is great for any type of pain within the body, because pain is always a blockage. And so many times these blockages are environmental toxins, which are permeating our body, which are devastating our immune system and our endocrine system, which are absolutely integral to having any kind of a healthy lifestyle. And when we flush out the toxins, we have to replace with something. So we begin to move towards these high auric value foods. G-bombs, greens, beans, onion, mushrooms, and why can't I think of what the S stands for right now? Maybe it is just G-bomb. I wrote G-bombs, and I'll get more information on that. We'll put that list on the newsletter. But another great way to do this is to eat more colorful foods. Now remember, to the best of our ability, we want to eat as fresh as possible, as organic as possible, now non-GMO. We want to make sure that any dairy we're eating is non-GMO, doesn't have any added hormones, and as local as we can. And one of the greatest ways to do that for ourselves is to just put these greens in everything. I put them in smoothies. I put them in soups. Of course, with salads, I will oil them, salt them, and throw them in the oven and bake them until they're a little bit crisp. These wonderful Kale greens, kale chips, that's always a fun way to do, get some more kale in us, get more greens in us. So one of the other things that I have always been mindful of, or for about 30 years since I've been on this journey, is the relation between antioxidants and our skin health. And if you're on the video, you're seeing I'm at the Global Healing Center with Dr. Edward Group. I do believe that Dr. Group is a pretty renowned scientist and doctor who does a lot of research, and he's telling us here in this article all of the wonderful ways that we can continue to increase antioxidants every day and remove those free radicals. Because the free radicals are the things that take over the healthy cells. And once that scale tips, then we have what we call lack of ease in the body, and it creates dis-ease. So one of the other ways that I love to use antioxidants is topically. I'm saddened when I look out there on the earth plane and I see people slathering all sorts of toxins all over their body, thinking it's going to be good for them. The skin is the biggest organ. It's an organ of our body. What we put on our skin goes into the body and affects the other organs. So one of the ways that we can have really healthy glowing skin, other than eating loads of these wonderful raw natural foods or lightly cooked, is then to put them on our skin. And if you've been in my kitchen before, you know you've seen me maybe peel a banana and slather the banana skin all over my my face, or apples, lemons, tea bags. I put green tea bags after I drink my tea. I just put these all over my face and my neck and my chest with a little olive oil or coconut oil as well, because topically antioxidants are phenomenal for keeping our skin healthy and beautiful. When I look around today on the earth plane and I see many people who may have been using something like sunscreen or maybe heavy makeup, or I don't know, I think there's something called where you would get a tan and wipe those on you. Those are all pollutants, not just to the skin, but to the body. And I see a lot of premature aging, I think, that happens when people are not filling their body up with wonderful antioxidants, but also using them topically in the form of beautiful natural oils that God gave us. If you look back in history and you hear of how the beautiful women took care of themselves, of course, Cleopatra being one of the most famous beautiful women, known for her beauty. In every part of the world, there are these wonderful oils that soothe the skin. And most of these oils have a bit of sun factor protection, but it's really not the sun that is the problem. It's the underlying lack of ease within the body, be it physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I know that's pretty heavy information. That's a lot. Let's check back in with Daisy and see what she's saying here, and or what she's thinking of here. And Daisy, how are we coming through so far this morning? Are you reading loud and clear? And do you have any questions so far?
Oh, absolutely loud and clear. That's a lot of great information. I did have a question. So a lot of times, we all have the cravings of all the bad stuff. And I was just thinking how we mentally can train our mind to curb out our carb appetite that everyone has. And I know for me, when I just choose to eat healthy, I feel so much better. And I think for a lot of people, it's that mental struggle of like, oh, well, this is what my body's craving, and potentially like we can change that very easily by eating the rainbow, as you said. And when you were talking about castor oil, as a child, I've had really bad like gut issues, and my mom would always give me castor oil. I have to drink it. Tasted terrible for a 7-year-old, but yeah, I had to drink it a lot to help my gut, and I thought that was cool. I didn't know about the liver detoxification it does and benefits of that.
Right. Yes. I'm going to mute you again, Daisy. Thank you. True. Castor oil is actually called Palma de Christi. It is the oil of Christ. And we use it for anointing the body. So when I'm doing healing practices, I use it for anointing the body. I use it in the packs as described in the video you're going to get. And to take it internally, yes, it was one of that. Castor oil and cod liver oil were phenomenal for digestive health then and now. We just want to be mindful that it is hexane free. But I know your mother is super conscious, and that is a brilliant way to keep children regular because of all the crappy food kids eat. They are not regular in their bowel eliminations. And that backs up and it begins to cause this dysbiosis in the gut, which leads to the devastating effects of poor health starting in the digestive system. So yeah, very good. Castor oil is very, very potent. And when you put castor oil on your skin, castor oil is very viscous. You just have to get used to its messiness, but it too is a powerful skinned with antioxidant properties for sure, for certain. So that is another way to keep our skin soft and glowing. Another way that I have always managed to get loads of antioxidants is a long time ago, back when I was still on the party train, I learned about the potency of high quality vitamin C. Not necessarily ascorbic acid, although I did take ascorbic acid in the past. I am now talking about high quality food-based vitamin C. And I invite you to go online and investigate for yourself, or maybe Daisy, we can find something that we can put in the newsletter regarding the potency and the beauty of vitamin C. Something I learned recently is that we won't die until the last bit of vitamin C is out of the body. Isn't that crazy? So I would say that we live better with more vitamin C. We're looking beyond the RDA here, people. Let's look up the work of Dr. Linus Pauling. We know that intravenously, they're now starting to ban the vitamin C intravenous drops for cancer patients because of all the wonderful success they were having. But that is for another show. But vitamin C, high quality, high dose vitamin C supplementation, a recommendation that I have followed for years is I try to get between 3 and 6 grams a day. And when you're taking the food-based, you do not have bowel intolerance like you might if you're taking the ascorbic acid. So you take it till you have a little bit of bowel distress. If you are constipated, it's a wonderful constipation reliever. And then you know that you have your maximum amount of vitamin C and you can back off then. I have heard that we should take 1 gram a day, up to 10 grams a day, due to our age. So if I'm 1 year old, I want 1 gram a day. If I'm 10 years old, I want up to 10 grams a day. And if I'm 55, like I'm going to be, I still want to try and find that up to 10 grams a day, which may seem like a lot of vitamin C, but we know what a potent antioxidant it is, and it's super affordable. If we are compromised, that 10 grams a day is the recommended can be the recommended healing dosage. So if we are if we are plagued with too many free radicals in our body, we lose our health. It's just the way it is. It's like a waterway that becomes backed up because the power plant is putting out so much energy, and then the sludge is the residual that is toxic to the environment. And when we bring in these free radicals, they are like the little sweeping up team, the really cleaning up team. Now I want to go a little bit deeper here on how, first of all, Daisy, here comes cayenne pepper. So some of you were on the call for the cayenne pepper call when everybody was having coughs, and we were talking about the importance of cayenne pepper for being thins out mucus and relieves a cough. It's really good for the lungs. And 3 of the ways that we were using cayenne pepper was we take it internally and we see the healing effects because cayenne pepper has a cauterizing effect. If you were out in the wilderness and you cut yourself, you would run to your spice kit. Don't you have a spice kit when you're out in the wilderness? I hope you do, if you're camping. And you would pack that with cayenne pepper and bandage it. It's going to hurt like a mother, but it's going to start the healing process. So when we take cayenne inwards, when we take it internally, we recognize that it still has that cauterizing healing effect. And it will go down. And if there are any little eruptions in our digestive tract, which is what this food that we're eating causes, it will cause a warmth. And they say there's nothing cools the heat of an ulcer. Nothing cools an ulcer like the heat of cayenne. So it's been recommended for ulcers. It's been recommended for, like I said, the thinning of the mucus, cough remedy. It's thermal, so it bumps up our metabolism. It's anti-inflammatory. And because of the beautiful red color, it is super high in antioxidant properties. It puts that body into a position of healing as opposed to a position of lack of ease or dis-ease. So when you take it in, and Cosmos and I were talking about this because in Bulgaria, when he was a child, they would put cayenne pepper in their boots and their gloves to keep them warm in the wintertime. When we take it internally, it gives us a nice warm feeling. My auntie was on it and she's feeling warmer now. So hallelujah for that. And then the one way that I love to use it as well is it keeps my cat out of my houseplants. So I just sprinkle a little bit, maybe on the leaves, maybe in the plant, and he doesn't really go near it. And they do not react in the way that we do with the heat, but they are repelled by it. And if you'd like to know more about the blessed herb cayenne pepper, I invite you to go to look up Dr. John Christopher. He was an amazing herbologist. He was very, very ill, and he healed himself moving towards God's natural healing remedies using cayenne pepper for everything. So let me get back on with Daisy here and see, what do you think about cayenne pepper, Daisy?
I love cayenne pepper. I've always used it for sickness too. Something I was taught was the apple cider vinegar, cayenne, and lemon and honey will make your sickness go away instantly, and that always worked really well for me. I think that was crazy about what you were saying, your friend in Bolivia. That's really interesting. I'd never heard that before.
Well, I remember my first year at Copper, we had a friend, and he would put cayenne pepper in his socks. And I had taken Dr. John's Christopher and knew that it had the warming capability both topically and internally, but had never heard of anyone actually doing it. And then Cosmos confirmed it for me for in the old country, because he is from Bulgaria, was raised there. I think he was born in the early 30s. So it goes back a long way. These are these ancient remedies that are still so important. The body's still the same. You know, our body is still the same as it was 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, no matter what your thoughts are on anything other than, you know, evolution or whatever. One of the other things that I love to do topically is I use food grade hydrogen peroxide for everything on my skin. Hydrogen peroxide is an oxygenator, and free radicals can only live in a I can't think of the word, but an unoxygenated space. So when we spritz hydrogen peroxide on maybe our skin, as I do, I like to use that. It's really oxygenating that skin beautifully, and you can kind of make a little paste with the cayenne pepper and a little bit of oxygenation with the hydrogen peroxide, and you can put that on your skin if you had like a little eruption or an irritation. That will help cleanse it, purify it, and start that healing process. So I think that's quite a bit of information for today on the importance of antioxidants. We want to think about G-bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, and berries, and realize that those are really high in auric value, and the auric value is the high oxygenation level of this food, so the high potential of this food to heal or help the body maintain its wellness. And we see those high antioxidant foods in the rainbow of foods, the colorful foods, all of those things. We want to try and get them in as natural state as possible, realizing that greens are best if we just lightly cook them a little bit, and then throw a cupful in a smoothie, throw a cupful in your soup today. Put some dressing on it. I like to do a warm green salad. We're going to talk more about recipes coming up next month. Yeah, the importance of those free radicals, eating up those free radicals with antioxidants. And before we sign off today, I want to give you one more little tip. One more little, what are we calling these? We're calling these our self-soothing practices, right? So if antioxidants, or if oxidants or free radicals are the problem, remember there is an exception to every rule, and I want to give you an exception right now, and I invite you to try this week. I want to introduce you to a good free radical. It's like a jumbo shrimp, isn't it? It's like an oxymoron. But this good free radical is called nitric oxide. NO. We say yes to no. Remember that class when we did that? What nitric oxide is it's this wonderful gas that brings about deep, profound relaxation. This isn't the stuff that the dentist gives us, which is nitric acid. This is nitrous oxide. This is nitric with a C, oxide. It's a free radical that promotes the relaxation of our blood vessels. And promotes well-being. So the way that we create more nitric oxide in our body would be to go out for a walk and enjoy the beauty of nature, deep breathing always. But one of the ways that I like to share with people, if you're around the house and you're having a little stressful moment, it is just to sound the letter N as in Nancy. And we just go N, N, N. We kind of really get that vibration through the sinuses, and it stimulates that production of nitric oxide that promotes the well-being that we need so that we can think about how much healthier, happier, and more grateful we can be each and every day. And we'll remember to put the nitric oxide in the newsletter too, Daisy. What else would you like to cover today, Daisy? Do you have any questions?
What exactly is nitric oxide? You said it's in the air?
It is a gas that is created in the body for the benefit of relaxation.
Wow.
We have natural states of it that occur when we're peaceful. Through meditation, through prayer practice, we're kind of promoting the release of nitric oxide. And because even though it is a free radical in its properties, that's more science that I'm not going into today, but it promotes this well-being, and the way that we can create more of it for ourselves, other than keeping our antioxidant levels high, of course, is to sound that vibration of the letter N. And that really puts us into a deeply relaxed state. Let's say you couldn't sleep, maybe get up for about 90 seconds, sit up and kind of go N. Or if you have a big project coming up, just spend about 90 seconds doing that and see how your body feels. But it puts the heart and the entire circulatory system into a relaxed state, and allows us to then better absorb all the good things that we're trying to do for our body. Because remember, emotionally, if we're stressed to the max, we are unable to, all the wonderful, quote unquote, nutrients of the world will do us no good if we are in a stressed state, a state of lack of ease within the body, within the mind. These things do not work until we have that nice peace of mind first, and then we can say, now I'm going to make a really good choice about how I want to feel today, how I'm going to nourish myself today, body, mind, and spirit, and how I want to move forward and love this life even more, choosing to be healthy, happy, and grateful each and every day, navigating this energetic life. What do you think of that, Daisy?
No, I think it's beautiful, and I want to go eat some antioxidants.
Right on, right on. Let's make a big berry green smoothie. Go ahead.
What would you recommend for potent vitamin C for people, as far as foods go?
For food, the thing about vitamin C is it's very unstable. I'm going to mute you again. Hang on. Vitamin C can be very unstable, and a lot of the high vitamin C foods might have a lot of sugar in them. Like we get the myth of like orange juice. Orange juice has too much sugar to be beneficial. When we ingest sugar, our immune system goes right into a downward spiral. So you think about all these poor kids who are getting up in the morning and they're getting pancakes and orange juice, and then they're going to go sit into a classroom that is enclosed with all the other little, germ breathing little children, and they get sick, right? Because the immune system is crashed for 8 hours when we ingest sugar. Sugar is one of the biggest disruptor of our wellness, and we talk more about that in the high-fat, low-carb diet. But so for vitamin C is in all our greens. So if you get wheatgrass, you are going to get, some of those purified greens have some in it. But supplementation for vitamin C is probably the best way to be able to get your grams. You really have to do the supplementation. And look for a high quality vitamin C that is the food-based, as opposed to just the ascorbic acid, which is created in a laboratory and may or may not be healthy for us. So those are some things to consider. I do like the work of Well, we'll put some links. We've worked with Dr. John Bergman, Dr. Tent. They're chiropractors who recommend, and Dr. Darren Schmidt, they recommend the work of, our pal. I can't think of what his name is right now, but we'll put the link to the high quality vitamin C in there. Well, you should be able to get it off the Health Ranger if you're looking for that. Just be mindful. We have to read all of our ingredients and make sure that we are getting as high quality food and supplementation as possible. Does that clear that up for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I know that I need more in my diet too. So.
And it really can be, it helps with the liver, it helps great for the skin, great for hair and nails. It's one of the most important and insoluble, we lose it so quickly. And especially if our immune system's compromised, we could go from vitamin C into medicinal mushrooms, and we might do one class just on medicinal mushrooms, which are wonderful for the immune system. The beta glucans are very high in antioxidants, and we're talking about like the reishi mushroom, the lion's mane, the cordyceps, those that we can use for medicinal purposes. So wonderful, wonderful. So, just be mindful, try and eat more good, colorful food, buy to your ability the highest quality that you can afford. If we get rid of the junk in our lives, we have a tendency to then crave more natural, healthy foods, get away from some of those sugar cravings and those crappy food cravings that you were talking about. And we can, we really navigate those cravings once we get rid of the sugar in our diet. But that's for another call. I think we had plenty for today. So we want to invite you along to go a bit deeper, come along for the inside track. You can purchase the video and the PDF with all of this information, and we'll send that out with our next little newsletter reminder if you would like a copy for yourself. So thank you for your time. Daisy, thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me in on your conversation. It was a lot of great information, and I look forward to using it.
Wonderful, and we'll talk next week, and safe travels to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for being here today, and we're just delighted that we are on this energetic life together. Be well. Namaste. All right, and we're going to end here.